Again, reminder that we will need to have access to board docs for 2 voting items this evening, board members. So be ready for that.
All the way up.
Okay. I think we're ready to go. So Ms. Hawthorne, you ready?
Yes.
Okay, great. So the hour of 7 p.m. having arrived and passed, although we were close tonight. Good work, team. I call to order the agenda setting meeting for the Woodland Hills School Board for the month of May 2021. Ms. Hawthorne, will you call the roll?
Yes. Mr. Graves,
Present.
Miss Ellickson,
Present.
Miss Lawson, Miss Curry,
Here.
Mr. Belmont,
Here.
Miss Scott,
Here.
Mr. Patterson,
Present.
Dr. Hildebrand,
Here.
Miss Glasser.
Present. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please remain standing for a moment of silence as we express our condolences to the family of Joe Barbusio, apologies, on the passing of his father on May 3rd, and to Danielle Zarisco on the passing of her father, Daniel Baldage, also on May 3rd. Thank you. Okay, next week we will accept the agenda and legislative meeting minutes. Are there any additions, corrections, or comments on the minutes at this time? Okay, hearing none. The board met in executive session immediately preceding this meeting to discuss legal, school safety, and personnel matters as permitted by law. Announcements, Mr. Harris.
Okay, put it on your calendar for Saturday, August 14th, 2021. Woodland Hills School District Community Day is coming back. It'll be held at Dixon Preparatory STEAM Academy over Shrower Avenue. Please go to our website for information, but this is the community day where we get back to school. So although we haven't gotten out of this one yet, we're planning on coming back already. So check out our website. We're partnering with US Steel and Rite Aid for a COVID-19 vaccination clinic. It will be held here at the admin building at 531 Jones Avenue on May 19th, noon until 6 p.m. Please call 412-233-1003 and go to our website for information. You will need an appointment. The first day that's a 2-dose shot. It doesn't say which one we're getting, but it's a 2-doser, May 19th. And then the second date is June 9th. So please go to our website and make an appointment, please. I'd like to announce the memorial and dedication services for Miss Amy Hahn, who was a beloved teacher at Wilkins Elementary. It is scheduled to be held on Friday, May 21st, 2021 at 5 p.m. It will be held at Wilkins Elementary STEAM Academy. The memorial and dedication service is open to anyone who would like to attend. There will be light refreshments that will be following the service. Please make sure you wear a mask. We will be following all COVID safety protocols. So that's all I have.
Okay, thank you for that. Are there other announcements from members? Okay. Hearing none, that moves us to student speakers. Ms. Douglas.
Hi, my name is Madeline Douglas, and I'm the class president of the junior class, as well as a member of the student council. In the recent and coming weeks, we have had and will have various activities occur. Recently, the high school successfully put on the spring musical of Jesus Christ Superstar, selling out in-person tickets for many of the shows, as well as selling over 150 streaming tickets each streaming night. 2 students from our show, Desmond Jackson and Dennis Thompson, were nominated for Best Supporting Actor at the Regional Gene Kelly Awards. The Film and Media Club created a video that was presented during the overture during the musical. The Student Council recently hosted Spirit Week on the week of May 3rd, allowing students to show their school spirit by wearing masks, tie-dye, and even wearing Woody High merch. In addition to Spirit Week, Student Council also held a food drive during the month of April, allowing for canned donations as well as virtual donations, and partnered with Rite Aid to provide vaccines for people while fundraising for Woodland Hills at the same time. Many sports are coming to a close. Girls and boys tennis are having their picnics today to wrap up its season. Baseball, track, and softball, with softball having its last game tomorrow night, recently came to an end and are coming to an end, all having successful seasons. Other clubs such as National Honor Society and Black Student Union have wrapped for the year. NHS and BSU both recently elected its officers and have had their last meetings for the school year in the past weeks. International Studies Club also competed in a CCA marketing competition, of which they also finished their year after that. As those activities are wrapping up, other activities are beginning and recruiting. The Woodland Hills Marching Band held its recruitment meeting on May 5th, in which the details of next year's show and practices were announced. The marching band will hold its banquet on May 23rd for current members and will have mini camp mixer on June 7th for current and prospective members of the marching band for the 2021 and 2022 school year. On May 11th, 12 Deep held its last recruitment meeting for the year, and FBLA is having its recruitment and end of the year celebration tomorrow. Cheerleading is holding tryouts May 17th and 19th from 5:30 to 6:45 p.m. I'm proud to announce the Student of the Month, freshman Aiden Potter and junior Emily Danino, so big congrats to them. In more senior news, today, every senior in the 12 neighborhoods of Woodland Hills were delivered celebratory signs thanks to the Kaylee Lynn McDowell Foundation and Woodland Hills administrators, teachers, and staff. The same class of seniors have shattered the Woodland Hills High School scholarship record, earning over $10 million worth of scholarships. A big congratulations towards them. Academic Award Night is tomorrow, May 13th, and on May 18th, we'll be having our Athletic Awards Night. Since the week of May 3rd, high schoolers are currently undergoing both math testing as well as AP testing if applicable. Finals are beginning next week for high school students as well. Despite the many struggles of students in the past year, especially the past month, students are finishing out the school year to the best of their ability, and we hope for positive outcomes. Seniors themselves are completing their last day of school this Friday. Prom is happening and will occur next Friday, May 21st at Shadagos Banquet Center, followed by graduation the following week on May 28th. Thank you for the opportunity to speak on behalf of the student body.
Thank you, Ms. Douglas, for all that good news. Very exciting stuff happening as always in May. Lots and lots going on. So congratulations, and congratulations to the seniors. The sign distribution today was very exciting, and the scholarship number I hadn't heard before. So that's very exciting as well. I'm glad we were able to put that out there. Okay. Mr. Harris, any presentations?
Not this evening, no.
Okay. And we do have one registered speaker, I believe. Ms. Lakins. I don't know that
Yeah,
I see her.
I do not see Miss Lakins in our participant list, Miss Glasser.
Okay. In that case, we will move on to board matters. Mr. Harris.
Okay, board matters. 2.1, third and final reading of policy 004B0G-7, oath of office certificate update.
Questions or discussion on this? Okay, hearing none. 2.2.
2.2, third and final reading of policy 137.1, extracurricular participation by home education students. Are there any questions?
Just a reminder that this is a new policy that we have not previously had. related to homeschool students. We do have a policy for charter school students on this. 2.3.
Okay, board matters 2.3, third and final reading of policy 803, school calendars. Are there any questions?
Okay, hearing none. 2.4.
Okay, board matters 2.4, third and final reading of policy 805, emergency preparedness. Are there any questions?
I do have a question on this. It may be best for Mr. Petrogallo, and I think we may have talked about it a little bit before, but when we're selecting which of I know some of the trainings are mandatory, some of the drills are mandatory. How will the board be involved going forward in selecting or being advised as to which of the other trainings are elected? I think we have to elect a certain number every year.
Yes, ma'am, that's correct. I think the best way to proceed would be, I'll go ahead and screen what I think would be the best value for us, for training and education. And before I obviously commit to anything, I'd like to present that to the board and then get all, your feedback, and then we can move together on it.
Okay. I think
All
that's-
right?
Yeah, I think that's important, especially as we're dealing with things like, active shooter drills and those kinds of things that have been a source of some concern for folks.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am, absolutely.
Other questions? Okay, hearing none. 2.5.
Board matters 2.5, third and final reading of policy 904, public attendance. Are there any questions?
Yeah, we incorporated similar language to what was in our previous policy related to admission for seniors and at events. Mr. Harris, is that correct?
Yes, we carried that language over, merged it. So it mirrors what we had prior.
Okay. Very good. Just want to make sure that everybody knows that seniors are still coming to football games for free. So that's important. So, okay, other questions? Okay, hearing none. Section 3, curriculum. Mr. Wilson?
Thank you, ma'am. Good evening, everyone. Wanted to start the curriculum section with one tab on which I'd like you to vote this evening, if at all possible. We seek approval to partner with the artists Latika Sewell and Daryl Kinzel with Boom Concepts to work with students at Dixon STEAM Academy for Remake Learning Day on May 13th, 2021. Ms. Sewell is actually an alumna of the district, and Mr. Kinzel does a lot in terms of social justice and community activism through art. And we are blessed and honored to be able to have them work with our students at Dixon to create a mural on the backside of our concession stand. We are also honored that the Grable Foundation and Remake Learning will be reimbursing $500 of this not to exceed $2,000 amount because it's a Remake Learning activity. It's on, if you search Remake Learning activities, we're one of the activities that are sponsored in the area and that are highlighted, and it's a great opportunity for our students. The only reason we're asking you to vote tonight is because, as you can tell, the date for the work is tomorrow, and we want to be able to make sure that the artist can invoice us. We would have had you vote last month in April, but the artists were not solidified until this month. So I apologize for the urgency, but ask your forgiveness and flexibility.
Okay, is there a motion?
So moved.
Moved by Ms. Scott. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Dr. Hildebrand. Questions or discussion on the motion?
I have a question. Does anybody have any idea what they may be painting?
So they are going to focus on giving students choice and voice. So Ms. Gaither and myself will be working with the small group of students, as well as with Mr. Kinzel and Ms. Sewell, to help them to design what they're going to paint. Ms. Sewell and Mr. Kinzel have done a lot of murals locally, and so and they've worked with a lot of children. So we feel like, between Ms. Gaither and I being there to help monitor and these individuals working with students around the area, that it'll be amazing, whatever it is, and it'll be appropriate. But they really want the students to be able to select what they're painting.
I had the opportunity to tour the high school, and it was really nice. But I think one of the things I enjoyed, there was a section where there was a bunch of student art on the walls, and I kind of smiled because it was a really good thing to see. So I'm sure, and our students are really good at art. So
Absolutely.
I'm sure this is going to be a really nice mural. So I think can't wait to see it.
Thank you, sir. Same.
Agreed. Any other comments or questions? Okay, hearing none, we'll take the vote.
Yes.
Motion carries unanimously. That moves us to the remainder of curriculum. Mr. Wilson, thank you.
Wonderful.
Look forward to seeing that.
Thank you all. I appreciate that. 3.2, we seek approval to purchase the Joy Hockham U.S. History resources for the use of classes at Dixon STEAM Academy for a total cost of $14,221.50 using ESSER 2 funds. These are the replacement materials for our U.S. history courses at Dixon. You'll remember in April, we had a tab to replace the U.S. history curriculum, and then we had to table it at the last minute because we had the wrong materials, and that it was completely on me and a miscommunication between myself and the educators. So we tabled that and then just created new tabs this month for this material. These are the corrected materials.
Questions on that? Hearing none. 3.3.
Similarly, 3.3, we seek approval to purchase renewal textbooks for algebra and world history for the Dixon STEAM Academy at a total cost of $37,641.15. These were the quotes that were also on that tabled tab that were correct, but we pulled the entire tab just to be safe. So these are from the same as the quotes that we would have voted on before.
Questions on these textbooks? Hearing none. 3.4.
3.4, we seek approval to purchase 90 TI-84 Plus graphing calculators for the high school at a total cost of $9,114.30 from the high school ATSI funds. This is a big piece, not a big piece, but a significant piece of the high school's ATSI plans to ensure that our higher level maths and sciences have the correct resources to be able to compete across the region.
Questions on this? Okay, hearing none. Thank you, Mr. Wilson. That moves us to special education. Ms. Zackel. You're still muted.
Hi,
Thank you. Good evening.
good evening. The Office of Special Education has 3 tabs to present to you this evening. 4.1, we seek approval for the Grade Point Resources Addendum in order to provide COVID-19 compensatory services to all students qualifying for ESY, extended school year, at a total cost of $18,414.90 to be funded by the Special Education COVID-19 Impact Mitigation Grant. The office is asking for the board to vote on this tonight so that Grade Point Resources has time to prepare for our July 6th start date.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Moved by Ms. Scott, second.
Second.
Second by Dr. Hildebrand. Questions or discussion on this item?
So what does Grade Point actually do for us already, since this is an addendum to this is just the extra hour?
That is correct. Grade Point
Okay.
Resources provides our extended school year services.
And so then will all students that are there be there for an extra hour, or is this for select students that can stay for the extra time, or is this extending the length of the day that the students are going to be there?
That is correct. It will be extending the length of the day. We will be providing COVID compensatory services to all students who have qualified for extended leave.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
Other questions? Okay, hearing none, let's take the vote.
Yes.
Motion carries unanimously. That moves us to 4.2. Ms. Eckel.
4.2, we seek approval to ratify the adoption of the Allegheny Intermediate Unit's policies and procedures and the 2021-2022 IDEA Part B Use of Funds Agreement. This is an annual procedure performed by the LEA every year in order to comply with federal law so that Woodland Hills School District is able to receive the IDEA Part B funds. This agreement allows us to service our students in a manner that is conducive to their special needs as their IEP requires. Are there any questions?
Okay, hearing none, 4.3.
We seek approval to renew the contract with Wesley Family Services to provide 4 therapeutic classrooms for the 2021-2022 school year at a service cost amount of $399,744.80. Wesley Family Services will provide the 4 mental health therapists with a minimum of a master's level degree and 4 bachelor's levels professionals. 1 mental health therapist and 1 bachelor's level professional will provide the mental health supports in 4 classrooms. Grades K to 3 is located at Edgewood STEAM Academy. Grades 4 and 5 is located at Turtle Creek STEAM Academy. Grades 6 through 8 is located at Dixon STEAM Academy, and grades 9 through 12 is at Woodland Hills High School. Are there any questions?
I have one, Ms. Eckel. Sorry, Mr. Belmont, go ahead.
I was just thanking Pam for all the information.
You're welcome.
Yes. What is the source of the funding on this? Is it general fund?
I'm sorry, yes, general funds.
Okay, great. Other questions? Okay. If we could update the tab to reflect that for next week so that it indicates general fund is the source, I would appreciate that.
Sure.
Thank you much. All right. Thank you, Ms. Zackel. Sorry, Dr. Hildebrand, you have a question?
Yeah, I was just going to say, so this is an extension. So is this a similar cost to last year, or are these services being expanded at any level?
There is a slight increase to reflect 2.5% for salaries for the Wesley Family Services staff. So yes, there is a slight increase.
Okay. And it's been budgeted for, I'm assuming. So.
Yes.
Okay, thanks.
You're welcome.
Other questions? Okay, now I will say thank you, Ms. Zackel. And we will move on to people personnel. Ms. Golden.
Good evening. The Office of Pupil Personnel has 1 tab for your consideration. Action item 5.1, we seek approval to accept the worksite agreement between Woodland Hills School District and Auberly for the Learn and Earn program. The Learn and Earn program is a 6-week summer employment program for Allegheny County teens ages 14 to 21. The district partners with Auberly to provide this opportunity for our students. And we also have students that participated last year, and we serve as a summer work site for those students. Are there any questions?
Yeah, I had a question regarding the funding for this. So So I saw that the pay is only minimum wage, correct? And then are
Yes.
we paying those students?
No,
Okay,
everything, Auberly provides all of that. We are just the work site for the students.
okay, I'm sorry if I missed that in the contract. When I was reading the contract, I could figure out we were the site and we had the supervisors, but then I wasn't figuring out who was actually paying or.
Yes,
And then are the students can be from all over Allegheny County, if I gather correctly?
they can, but yes, they can. But in working with Janine from Auberly, she does her best to place our students in our work site.
Okay. Sounds great. Thanks.
You're welcome.
Other questions? Okay, hearing none. Thank you.
Thank
Ms.
you.
Wilson.
Thank
Then we
you.
go to personnel, Ms. Boyd. Oh, you are muted, Ms. Boyd. I apologize.
And unmute. Thank you. I'm sorry about that. Good evening, everyone. Personnel, 6.1, Section B, authorization for retirement resignations. Section D, authorization for hire non-professional staff. Section F, authorization for EDR mentor actions. Section G, authorization for miscellaneous. Any discussion regarding personnel 6.1? We would have to go into executive session. Are there any questions or need for exec? Okay. 6.2, we seek approval of the revised Act 93 agreement. The agreement is attached and highlighted in yellow is the change that the administration is requesting the board approve next week. Any questions? Section 6.3, we seek approval to contract with Frontline Services for onboarding and recruiting services and other HR functions at a cost of $28,675.75 paid for with ARP ESERS funds. This was presented at committee last week and it was discussed at Monday evening's ESER meeting. Any questions?
Yeah, Ms. Boyd, can you give us a brief overview of this? I still think this is a great idea. I think with all the paper generated out of that out of your office, that this is a smart way and a good way for us to move forward with technology and have our departments functioning efficiently. So can you
Right.
give it a quick overview of what this does?
Absolutely, I will. As you mentioned, we're not even in the 20th century, let alone the 21st century with how our recruiting functions are handled here. Everything is paper driven. Our postings are posted to the website and we request that applicants, candidates submit their information through US mail or dropped off, or sometimes attached to an email in which we still have to print out, which is additional paper. This recruiting tool will allow for faster recruiting. It will allow us to connect with our other online programs such as PA Educator and our other posting boards. In addition, this will allow the district to also benefit to have all forms that are generated through the district, such as field trip requests, other forms that are needed in the building. This can be used throughout. This system will also partner with ASOP, which is provided to us from Kelly Education Service, which is our substitute service, partnering with them as well to have information uploaded immediately. So this will cut down on a lot of paper, a lot of time that we spend receiving applications and resumes. Additionally, this will assist with onboarding when we do have the successful applicant come in to do their paperwork through benefits. Right now, our applicants come in and they sit at a table here and we go through each piece of document paper again, one by one, whereas now this information will be housed through this technology so our applicants can actually retrieve these documents from the comfort of their home and complete the paperwork and send it to us electronically. This will reduce a lot of the files that we have to maintain, which will in turn free up a lot of space for us to have other necessary documents here than just applications and resumes and paper.
think my only question would be, do we retain the right of all data generated from this?
I
Or-
will have to get clarification on that. I don't have an immediate response for you, but I can have that for you first thing tomorrow morning.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, any other questions? Okay. Thank you, Ms. Boyd. That moves us to section 7, technology. Mr. Muter.
Good evening. I am seeking approval to purchase 3 years of maintenance and 100 additional licenses for our Cisco Informicast server. This Informicast, I'm sorry, for the cost of $15,756.50 from the General Fund 10. This Cisco Informicast server is an advanced notification system, and it's integrated into our phone system. This program will allow our principals and administrators to send live audio, recorded audio, and text messages to each of the classroom phones. We need to have this maintenance support in order to receive the upgrades that we need, so it will operate with our current updated server. Any questions?
So the additional licenses, does that mean we have 100 additional devices, or are these just sort of, when you upgrade, if you're upgrading, you just need new licenses, I guess is the point.
Yes, well, when we upgraded the high school and placed phones in every single classroom, we didn't have quite enough. So I need like 75, but then this other 25 will give me a little bit of cushion for growth.
Okay, great. That's what I was looking for.
Okay.
Other questions? Okay, hearing none. Thank you, Mr. Muter. That will move
You're
us
welcome.
to food service and transportation. Ms. Niccolo.
Good evening. Food service and transportation has 2 board tabs for renewal of contracts. The first one is that we are seeking approval for the nutrition contract for food services for the 21-22 school year. This is an additional year of renewal granted by PDE for food service management contracts that were due for renewal. Originally, we entered into this contract on July 1st, 2016. That included a possible 4 years of renewal. And this contract will be pending state approval as well as your approval. Once you approve it, it goes to the state, they approve it, and it comes back to us. And we do recommend this approval. Is there any questions? And the next tab is that we're seeking approval to renew the first student transportation contract for 7 years, the 21 through 22 school year through 27-28. This is what we discussed at the last committee meeting. We did add 2 more years to the renewal to get a better rate. Instead of the first year being a 9.5% increase, it's an 8.27% increase in the daily rate. And all of the documents, supporting documents, are attached to your board tab. If there's any questions.
Yeah, so I had a question just about the, I guess, capacity of first student. So right now they handle what, about 75% of our students?
Yes.
Does that look to be maintained, or do they think there's any chance that they would be able to cover a larger percentage of that? Or
Yes, they do have the capacity to do more. And actually, Mr. Albright, I do believe, is still here. He's our regional manager from first student, and he could speak to this more. But if they did take over more of the contract, it would be an even better, rate. And this renewal, of course, is including the technology that you saw demonstrated about 6 weeks ago. That was the First Student, the First View app that the schools would have so that they could see exactly where their buses are. And also the parents would have the app to be able to see exactly where their students' buses are, both in the morning and in the afternoon. In addition to a number of other things, we can have Mr. Albright speak if you'd like to elaborate on any of these, if you have additional questions.
Well, I guess the question is that I would have then, do they have that percentage of our students now by choice, or is that on our end? As opposed, because I know we're sort of patchwork that other 25%. Is that sort of a necessity that we need to do that? Does that make
Right.
sense?
In the past, it was a necessity. That we brought in other contractors, but again, like I say, Mr. Albright would be able to speak to this better and his assurances of what they could or couldn't provide for us. And we are also working with them to transition or integrate electric school buses into our fleet in the future. And, that is going to take a lot of infrastructure and equipment investment. And so if that is something that we, want to continue to pursue as part of our climate policy, and that's where this all stemmed out of, it would behoove us to, continue our relationship either as it is or to increase it.
If the rate is improved by increasing their share, why are we not pursuing that at this point? Is it because of other contracts, or is it because?
No, the other contracts are actually expiring at the end of June. The end of the school year, the rate that they were offering was a 7.5% initial year rate. But then the subsequent years were staying the same at 3.5%.
But they were not offering the bus tracking software or any of the other improvements that First Student is offering.
Right. Our other contractors do not have the capabilities that First Student has in terms of like the First View and the school dashboards and that kind of thing. We can pursue, them taking over all of the contract if that is the way we want to move.
I would defer to you for recommendation on that. It seems to me that it would be streamlined to have only one provider. There's been concerns about that in the past, so I would, look to you for recommendation on that. But certainly, if it would improve the rate as well, that seems to be logical. So I would, I would appreciate some thought on that.
Okay.
Right, and I just wanted to, I was under the impression that the 75% of our students that they were carrying was because of their capacity limits and sort of special transportation needs we have for some of our students that have to be handled by a different company. That's so I guess I was just curious why
it ended up being at approximately the 75% years ago when actually we increased our number of routes that First Student took over. They did not have that number of runs for us, but was that, and I can't remember exactly what the number of years ago was. I believe it was 5 or 6, half a dozen years ago when one of our contractors pulled out of the district. And First Student suddenly, they did step up and took over all of the transportation that the other contractor was doing for us. And a lot of it was very specialized transportation. And at that point, they just were not in the position to take over more of the contract. And so that's how we ended up still having at that time 2, and then went to 3, and have just kind of remained at status quo of 3. Kind of. But they are interested, as always, in having the entire contract.
Okay. Other questions?
Yes, I have a question on a different nature. Miss Nicola, you gave a really good presentation, or the gentleman, I think is Mr. Albright, gave a good presentation about the application for the technology that would be on the busing.
Yes.
You just said something that kind of triggered me, and I wanted to know, I know this technology isn't currently installed on our bus, but would this give the parents the opportunity to stop buses when they're not at our convenient bus stops? Because I worry about that. If the parents know where the buses are, I can see at times where parents will want to stop a bus to bring their child off the bus prior to it actually hitting designated stop places. So
No,
it's something we need to develop a policy for prior, so that won't happen, or because that could be a big disturbance to the.
right. Well, we actually already do have a policy in place regarding this, and it's not only Woodland Hills policy, but it is actually school bus driver policy, you know, according to their their school bus driver CDL. They are not allowed to pick up or drop off students at places other than the approved bus stops.
Okay, great.
So, I mean, that basically already is the policy that is in place. Cars cannot be hounding the buses on the road and following them and stopping them. I mean, at that point, I would be calling 911 because there's some erratic person that you don't know what's happening.
Right,
You know,
I
at the bus.
sure if we have the technology to be able to track where our buses are, then I can kind of see
Oh,
in those
mhm.
in that manner. So thank you for your explanation.
Sure.
Other questions? Okay, hearing none. Thank you, Ms. Nicola.
Thank
Mr.
you.
Buildings and Grounds.
Good evening, everyone. Buildings and Grounds has 15 items tonight. 10.1, we're seeking approval to bid out for trash and recycling removal. Our 3-year contract with Republic Waste is ending July 1st of 2021.
Questions from members? Mr. Finney, do you have an RFP for this already, or will it be attached for next week?
No, the RFP will be ready for the following meeting.
Okay. Very good. So not next month, but June?
In June, yes.
Okay. Very good. Okay, other questions? Okay, hearing none. 10.2.
10.2, we seek approval of proposed change order PCO ASB 007 for Canfield Development Construction Corporation totaling at $23,900 from Capital Project 39. This is to remove the existing ceilings in the lower level of the maintenance area.
Okay, questions? Hearing none. 10.3.
10.3, we seek approval of proposed change order PCO FSE 001 for commercial appliances totaling $12,166 from Capital Project 39. This is for revised floor depression due to existing slab on the deck, rather designed slab on grade for the walk-in freezer and the cooler for the system and ramps in the high school kitchen.
Okay, questions? Okay, hearing none. 10.4.
10.4, we seek approval of proposed change order PCO GC 034 ASI 18 for Vendrick Construction Corporation totaling $65,587.74 from Capital Project 39. This is to provide metal soffit ceiling system, the R11 spray insulation and painting of the canopy.
Questions? All right, hearing none, 10.5.
10.5, we seek approval of proposed change order PCO GC 035 at GC 043 for Vendrick Construction Corporation totaling $1,630.06 from Capital Project 39. This is from us requesting to install additional TV screens in the LGI room B125.
Questions? Hearing none, 10.6.
10.6, we seek approval of proposed change order PCO GC 044 for Vendrick Construction Corporation totaling $1,386.90 from the Capital Project 39. This here is for fire extinguisher cabinet revisions for the high school.
Questions? Okay, hearing none, 10.7.
10.7, we seek approval of proposed change order PCO GC 051 for Vendrick Construction Corporation totaling at $2,368.02 from Capital Project 39. This is for a revised floor finish to the Forbo MCT in room E106, which is the extra room for the studio.
Okay, questions? Okay, hearing none, 10.8.
10.8, we seek approval of proposed change order PCO GC 056 for Vendrick Construction Corporation totaling $3,692.18 from Capital Project 39. This is for additional stage weights and battens for the auditorium.
Questions? Okay, hearing none, 10.9.
10.9, we seek approval of proposed change order PCO GC 065 for Vendrick Construction Corporation totaling $5,826.81 from Capital Project 39. This is for unforeseen lintel required for the auditorium HVAC return air duct.
Questions? Okay, hearing none, 10.10.
10.10, we seek approval of proposed change order PCO GC 7A for Vendrick Construction Corporation totaling $3,707.60 from Capital Project 39. This is for cutting existing window sills to 7.5 inches to fit new windows.
Questions? Okay, hearing none, 10.11.
10.11, we seek permission to accept the Woodland Hills School District facility usage request.
All right, questions? I have a question. Mr. Finney, looking at the attachment, it seems there's a number of internal uses. Historically, the board has approved outside organizations' use of the facilities, but has not considered things like the cross-country teams preconditioning, for example, which is on the list, parent preview at the Wolverina. Those things have not historically been on the list. Is this a change in procedure in your office, or is this?
No, I just thought with the new changes with the COVID and everything, I just thought I should add them on there, but I don't have to add them on there. I wasn't sure what to do. I was like balancing it out.
Yeah.
If I should add them or if I shouldn't add it.
I'm fine with seeing them for now.
Okay.
I think that makes sense to me to do that, and I think It also helps to understand the full picture of the calendar for our facilities, so that's helpful as well. I would also, sort of as a corollary, would like to revisit the idea of how we're evaluating these things to make sure that we don't have duplication of dates and things going forward. If we could, present this in a way that is a calendar or something of that to that effect, I would like to revisit that. Not, at some point in the not too distant future.
Okay, so you do like it this way then?
I'm fine with leaving those on. I just wanted to highlight that as a change.
Okay.
So unless other members have other thoughts, at least for the time being, I'm happy to see what all of what the full picture looks like.
All right, thank you.
So can I just ask a question about indoor use facilities, right? So I see that and I know we had approved, we had said okay for like Watt to use the pool and things, but we had talked about capacity limits. Are we just going to go with state capacity limits, things like that at this point, since we're going to be at 50?
We're going to follow the CDC guidelines, and we're going to mirror with athletics department what they have in place already. And
Okay.
also Watt already has their CDC guidelines as well that they followed.
Okay. Because I'm just saying, I mean, as of Monday, indoor things are going to be 50% capacity, right?
Yes.
So we're just going to follow state guidelines, and then come Memorial Day, there aren't any besides wearing a mask, right?
Correct.
Okay.
Other questions? Okay, hearing none. 10.12.
10.12, we seek approval to purchase new furniture for the science wing of the high school. Science wing second floor, all seating for $4,485. Columbia Manufacturing for $13,784.92. Paragon for $64,269,000 for a total cost of $82,538.92.
Questions? Okay, hearing none. 10.13.
10.13, we seek approval to purchase new furniture for the SA wing of the high school. SA wing first floor, all seating $10,306. JSI furniture for $12,739.20. Paragon for $29,527.74. Surface Works for $13,800.48 for a total cost of $66,373.42.
There a question? Okay, hearing none. 10.14.
10.14, we seek approval to purchase new furniture for the high school cafeteria. Cafeteria first floor, Palmer Hamilton, $31,145.08. Paragon, $10,810.80 for a total cost of $41,955.88.
Any questions? Okay, hearing none. 10.15.
10.15, we seek approval to purchase new furniture for the history wing of the high school. History wing first floor, all seating, $6,279. Paragon, $177,199.77 for a total cost of $183,478.77.
Okay, any questions?
I have one thing I would like to add to this, if I may.
Yes, can I ask you one question on those first, Mr. Finn?
Yes.
Safe to assume that all the furniture purchases are out of the capital fund.
Yes.
Okay.
With saying that, I forgot, I should have added, I would like to also get permission and board approve to surplus all the furniture and the equipment in those areas that I just mentioned. That would help us, empty out the trailers, get the trailers removed, have a saving cost on the trailers, and to make more space in our building as well.
Okay, I think we can add a tab for that unless there's an objection from any member. We can add a tab for that for next week.
Yes. Thank you.
You have a tentative cost of what that would be, Mr. Finney?
Total cost for what? I'm sorry.
To surplus all the furniture and stuff and move it out.
Well, right now, the stuff that we're buying new furniture to replace that stuff, we would just surplus it and put it in dumpsters and get it out of the building and get it out of our storage trailers so we can get the storage trailers back to the companies and get the trailers off our property.
Okay.
As always, when we're surplusing things, if we have the opportunity or a way to offer them for reuse somewhere, I would encourage that. I know time is of the essence here, but I would certainly encourage if there's a way to see if anyone's interested in any of the furniture, that we pursue that as an option.
Thank you.
Okay. Anything else from Mr. Finney? Okay. Hearing none, that moves us to legal matters. Mr. Harris, I'll ask you to handle the legal tab.
Legal matters 13.1. Motion to approve exoneration of school taxes on lot 372-M-250 in Wilkins Township, presently owned by Lawson Realty Company per a petition in substantially the same form as attached.
So I believe we will have to wait on questions for this until we have the attachment and also Mr. Vogel next week, unless anyone has something that they think Mr. Harris can answer. Okay, hearing none, we'll move to school finance. Mr. Gigliotti.
Good evening.
Good evening.
14.1, we're seeking approval for the ratification of the bill list from the previous April 21st meeting through the current week. Are there any questions on any of the ratification invoices? Uh, 14.2, we're seeking approval for the May bill list. Are there any questions on any of the invoices listed for approval? (14.3), we're seeking acceptance of the fund reports and student activity reports for the month of April. Are there any questions? (14.4), we're seeking approval of the investment reports for April. If there are any questions. (14.5), seeking approval to reappoint myself as board secretary for a 4-year term effective July 1st. This is required by school code. The board secretary position is a 4-year position. Are there any questions? (14.6) is we're seeking approval to name Valerie Shaver as the treasurer for 1 year, effective July 1st. And I corrected I just corrected the motion to get rid of copy of. So this again is set by the school code. It's a 1-year term. Are any questions? (14.7), as a member of the Forbes Road CTC, we are responsible to approve their budget. Their budget is attached. The total dollars of the operating budget and the administrative budget represents a 0 increase from last year. And the member district anticipated cost per student for next year is $5,996 per student. Are there any questions on the CTC budget? $14.8, we're seeking permission to exonerate the tax collectors. We just completed the final installment payment for the 2020 tax year at the end of March. So we exonerate the tax collectors for the installment payments. And 14.9, month of May, we're by school code, we're to adopt a proposed final budget. So this is the final budget adoption and the resolution to display and advertise the proposed final budget. Currently, the budget has revenues of $106,494, $106,494,663 in revenues, expenditures of $106,135,447. It represents a millage increase of the index 3.9%, which is equates to 1.0529 mils. So it'll reflect an increase from 26.9982 mil to 28.0511 in its current form. When the action to approve this takes place, it'll be put out for advertisement for 20 days prior to the adoption, which right now is scheduled for June 16th, which is the legislative meeting for June. But as long as the budget is adopted before June 30th per school code, but we need to meet at least 20-day advertising. So are there any questions on?
Just to be clear, Mr. Gigliotti, even if we adopt this as proposed next week, it will not increase taxes. There's still opportunity to modify the budget. Though the recommendation is to increase the millage, the board still has time to deliberate over that and make a determination about whether that is the course of action we wish to take.
Exactly. This is just a proposed budget by law, so we can advertise it, get it out there. The public has an idea of what it looks like. The board, between the adoption of the proposed and the adoption of the final, can alter the budget.
Okay. Any questions from members? Okay. Hearing none, I believe, Mr. Harris, that concludes the agenda.
Yes.
Thank you. Is there any old business? New business? Okay, that moves us to committee reports. We held our May committee meetings on the 4th and 5th. And we will report on those. Policy, Dr. Hildebrand.
Yes. So there were a number of policies that are listed. We really only focused on a couple of these, and most of these are in their third reading, so the board's had a lot of time to look at them. The social media policy has actually, if you may have noticed, has been pulled off the agenda, so that there were some discussions about that, and Mr. Harris says there are going to be some significant revisions to the policy that had been previously put out there. So that was pulled and will be rewritten and reintroduced. And so we'll start over with the review of that once that policy is revised. I also introduced some sample policies to the board addressing transgender students and gender expansive students. We're going to continue those discussions, and at some point we may bring those policies forward to adopt. And those were the major issues that we talked about in the policy committee. Thank you.
Thank you. And sort of a general board work section, we discussed a plan for strategic planning. The district does not currently have an active strategic plan. We have the state mandated comprehensive plan, but not a strategic plan of the kind that gives us the tools we want to go forward. So we've asked administration to take on that challenge. Mr. Harris, do you have any updates regarding a strategic planning process?
We'll be putting something out in the next few weeks to talk about how we're going to proceed with it and how we're going to engage the community members and staff to be on a small panel to review. We're also working with the AIU 3, the waterfront, and they're going to help us coordinate.
Excellent, thank you. Curriculum, Ms. Scott.
We only had a couple of items on the curriculum committee agenda this month. We were joined by Dr. D'Amico from the high school, who spoke with us about offering an SAT prep course over the summer. That would be by the folks from Goldstein Test Prep. So we're excited to bring that opportunity to our students this year, and we'll continue those conversations. The other big item was the Woodland Hills Opportunity Camp, which I know Mr. Wilson has spoke about previously, but the enrollment is now open for that. And just as a reminder, that camp runs June 28th through July 30th with no camp on July 6th and will be 9 to 3 daily at Dixon.
Thank you for that. Please visit the website for enrollment information about Opportunity Camp. We're very excited about that for the summer. Ms. Seligson, Special Education.
Sure. So for special ed, we talked about the district's plan, special education plan being extended to June 30th, 2022. And then for people, personnel, we discussed the Learn and Earn program and the NY Life grant. For Forbes Road, we had a brief meeting. We were presented with our budget. Like Mr. Gigliotti said, it's not going to be a change, so we're just under $7 million for that. We have our graduation ceremony planned for May 19th. I don't remember, I think we're going to go with Gateway. I have to double check, so pretty sure that's what we're going with. And we had over 300 students and families attend safely for our open house back in March. Two more items. There's been an ongoing issue that's specific to Monroeville, where our solicitors have litigation regarding, it's called a pollution control and flood reduction fee. And it's basically, it's the way the rain drains into the sewage, and they're trying to tax everybody, including school districts. So we're trying to prove that that's not really a fee that should apply to us. And they have a hearing in the fall 2021. That was it.
Thank you very much. Okay, that moves us to technology. That's me. We had conversation about Mr. Muter's tab this evening regarding the phone system. And in very exciting news, the web hosting demonstration, or the web hosting group with which we have recontracted, is presenting us with new demo pages and sent us a list of pages to review. And they are working on a mock-up for our new homepage as well. We're also going to have continuing conversation about how we're going to maintain those new pages and who's responsible for content on the website, which is very important. In reports from the AIU, not a whole lot of new information to report down there. Things continue apace at the AIU with the services available. Strategic planning continues over there as well. Ms. Seligson and I are both participating in that committee, and we'll have a meeting on Friday morning to continue that process for them, which is very exciting. The AIU has hired a director of diversity and inclusion, which is very exciting as well, and he will be available for consultations throughout the county. So we're hoping to be able to engage with that process too. And with regard to Eastern Area and the Sunrise School, conversation continues about the future of the building with regard to the roof. Litigation is ongoing with that matter. Sunrise, because it's also Monroeville, is dealing with the same issue that Forbes is with regard to the pollution control fees there. All the large institutions, including churches and shopping centers in Monroeville, are having this conversation. So it's a rather significant issue that's out there. So last month we adopted the resolution regarding the Sunrise School roof and the costs associated therewith potentially. So that is in the offing. Other districts are considering that as well and having conversations about that. I know there was also a memo that was sent out about scheduling a meeting with superintendents and other business manager administrators who would be interested in having learning more about how Sunrise works and what the jointure is and all those things with regard to the impacts from the roof piece. So those are the updates that I have on all of my committees. Athletics, Mr. Belmont.
The athletics committee was brief. Mr. Corsi had to take the baseball team to see the Wild Things play the minor league baseball game in Washington. That's the extent of our report.
Okay, yeah, the boys actually had the chance to play at the Wild Things Stadium as well, which was very exciting. So congrats to the baseball team on that opportunity. Human resources, I will take that one as well. Ms. Boyd presented a guest from Frontline Recruiting, which is on the tabs for consideration this month, and the services that that company can provide to us. Mr. Graves said earlier that he believes it's a good opportunity. I think it is as well to streamline our operations there. We also met in facilities committee. Site Logic presented the construction update as they do every month. We had a brief conversation with Greg Wink from Soulbridge Energy Advisors, which is a company that looks at opportunities for solar use, not a specific installer or anything of that nature, but sort of a consultant broker of solar services. Conversations with him will continue. We continued our conversation about outside use of facilities, as you heard earlier this evening. Those will be resuming for many of our organizations. We're looking forward to getting them back into our spaces. And we talked about the Giza update that we received from our partners at Site Logic with regard to the projects that we have done and the cost savings that we enjoy as a result of the improvements we've made to facilities, not yet including Dixon and the high school, but those will be coming online next year. Okay, transportation and food service, Ms. Curry.
So we discussed the transportation contract extension with First Student for the 21-22 school year with 4 additional renewable years. Discussed the need for an alternate driver skills training lot access at Schaefer, since the old intermediate building is being used, well, parking lot is being used by United States Postal Service for their skills training right now. And then food service, there were general updates regarding the first of 3 EBT benefits disbursements scheduled to begin in May, then June and July, and parents should refer to the website, PADHS PEBT website for details, because the district does not determine who gets this funding, and discuss the contract extension with Nutrition Inc. for the 21-22 school year, and additional fees that will be paid for the COVID-related costs outside of food service contract for grab and go, meal labor, and packaging with CDC guidelines. And that's it.
Thank you. Finally, finance, Mr. Graves.
Yes, as usual, we went through our budget updates, trying to balance a new school budget for this upcoming school year. We also had conversations. We had a separate meeting on conversations about ESER 1, 2, 3 spending. This gave us the opportunity to talk to a lot of our administrators about what their needs are per department and how we can allocate the funding towards that. So we had a comprehensive conversation with our administration about their recommendations for spending, and we will continue those conversations throughout the next couple of weeks prior to all the funds being applied. And that way we know exactly what direction our funding is going, and hopefully with the overall intent that it will help get some of the strain off our fund balance. So that's about where we're at with finance.
Thank you much. Thank you to all the members for those updates. Okay. That moves us to public comment. Is there anyone who wishes to address the board at this time? If so, please use the raise hand function on your Zoom app and we will acknowledge you. Reminder that those who address the board have 2 minutes in which to do so. You're asked to give name and place of residence or association with the district in advance of your comments. Comments should be directed generally, and any questions that are posed will be answered following the meeting. Okay. Okay, seeing no raised hands. I'll move to section 20. Mr. Harris.
Okay, Section 20. We seek permission to adjourn the May 12th, 2021 agenda setting meeting.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Ms. Seligson, second by Dr. Hildebrand. Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Thank you all. We'll see you next week.
Good night.
Good night.
Thank
Great
you.
night,
everybody.
everyone.
Take care.
Bye.